Hey, check out this clip from the Pre-Patch podcast.
Lords, we've talked about it a couple different
But
times
this
on
is
the
different than Banner
podcast.
Lords, right?
This is different from
This is
Banner
different.
Lords. This is
Okay.
Manor Lords. It's a RTS city building. It kind of incorporates like Warhammer or I'm sorry, not Warhammer, Total War aspects into like a city builder, like a medieval city builder, like Banished almost. And if you guys have played those, obviously you'll know about that. But it's just a really interesting take on the city building franchise in general, because we've not really had something like this. We've obviously had like Total War-esque games, and they do have like city management, but this is like city skylines for medieval times. Like you're building up your entire city, you're building up your army, you're building up everything like that. You're doing trade routes, you're doing everything, so agriculture, everything like that. So it kind of blends both of those in. The current rendition of it's in early access, so it's kind of, there's some things that are missing from it, there's some things that are added to it, there's some things that we're still waiting on, but the current rendition that we have, I think, is actually a really impressive take on what we have already. Like the city building, it's really good. Like it's competent. It's right up there with, in my opinion, with City Skylines. Obviously not two City Skylines 2 is horrible. Don't play that game, please. until they fix it. But this has those aspects to it where it's very customizable with your actual city. You are able to lay down roads, you're able to like customize where you want things, even down to the routes of like when you're building like livable buildings like they're showing right now, right? You can actually like size those up, and like the bigger they are, the more things that you can do inside of that little living area. So there's certain influences and things that you can do inside of those specific aspects. Inside of the living areas, you can actually have your citizens like do things for you. So like you can make them produce carrots, or you can make them produce like goats, chickens, everything like that. And then once you level that specific building up, you can also make them produce things like bows and arrows or crossbows, everything like that. And every bit of that goes towards your city's like fame or your city's prominence, right? I think they call it influence. And you're basically doing that to go to war in this large scale map with another baron and with bandits, and that's how you gain influences, by winning battles against bandits, and that influence can then be used to basically claim more land. So it's, from what I've seen right now and from what I've played, I've put about 3 hours into it so far, 3 or 4 roughly. It's great, man. It's everything that I've wanted from it. I've been looking forward to this game for a while. I do think that I'm really hoping that they do. Yeah, go ahead, Scruffy.
Put your goddamn hand down.
I've been waiting patiently. Is this just medieval, or is it fantasy at all? Is there like any sort of
No,
like...
this is just medieval. Yeah,
Okay,
no, this is
gotcha.
just a straight medieval city builder. So there's no elves, there's no dwarfs or anything like that. So
Yep,
yeah,
thank you.
But it's a competent one. If you like city builders, you're gonna like this. If you like Total War or those types of games, I think you'll really enjoy it. I've been enjoying it a lot from everything that I've played, and I'm looking forward to when they add in some of those late game stuff as well. Because like right now, you get to a certain point, and it's just like you kind of hit a stop point for growth on your city. So,
Is right. Do you have like a unlockable like other civilizations, or is it just this one kind of civilization and you?
Yep, it's just your town. There's no like progression in civilization or anything like that. It's not that kind of a game. It's essentially, you're a medieval town, you're a medieval lord. That's what you are. You're progressing your city up to a point that you can take on this bigger threat, which is this illegitimate person.
Threat?
Right now, yeah. As far as I can tell, the only threats that you have on the map right now is just the illegitimate Manor Lord or whatever you want to call it, the illegitimate lord that's taken over. Essentially, the lord he has the map, and he's made illegitimate claims of the entire map. So that's your entire reason for being there, is to go back, claim those illegitimately claimed regions of the map for yourself, and then take him on. But inside of that map as well, there's also bandits, and bandit camps will pop up. They'll steal shit from your city. So you'll have to go and like take care of that, or else they'll continuously steal shit from your city. And those right now, as far as I can tell, are the only threats that they have in the game currently.
What are the fights and stuff like? Are they similar to Total War, where it's like a real time fight thing where you can like flank with troops?
Totally.
And, like,
yep.
Okay.
Total War-esque. You have like your specific like regimes or regiments or whatever you want to call it. You've got like your spearmen, you've got your archers, you've got your regular knights, you've got your cavalry, everything like that. So like you can build huge armies as long as you have the city for it, and the stocks for it and the influence for it. You can build huge armies and just take them to war. I personally haven't seen anything larger than like a few hundred at least. My current one is made up of basically militia. It's just my my townspeople with like spears and pitchforks currently and shitty bows.
They showed one image where like it looked like the farms people came out with these pitchforks, and then the next shot was like this armored up, just complete like in full blown steel. I'm like, they're gonna get murdered.
That's the influence. So the further you get inside of the progression of the game, the better equipment you can get. So you originally from like the start, you're going to start out with villagers that are just basically going out there with the basics. So spears, pitchforks, very shoddily made bows.
That guy is just manhandling a deer.
He's just walking down the street.
I guess so, man. One arm over the shoulder.
but later on, you'll get like halberds, you'll get full plates, you'll get like infantrymen, you'll get people that are riding horses with like jousting and all that shit. From what I can understand, I don't know if they're going to add in like catapults. I think that would be a really interesting one. Is like castle sieges. I haven't personally seen anything like that, but I'm hoping that they have that, because that's going to be a huge, like that would be a huge center. Is like if you finally get to that last illegitimate manor lord and you're sieging his castle, to have like 400 or 500 people or even a couple thousand that are just like converging on one location and just taking it over. That would be epic.
And
what I will say too is this is obviously what we're watching is pre-alpha footage. We're further into what this is, right?
Slightly, not slightly. Really. The current release, again, like I said, there's not a lot to like. There's a surprising amount to it for early access and for it being in basically the first alpha or whatever you want to call it. But there's not like there's a stopping point at which you can't go past. There's certain things that aren't in the game right now, certain buildings, certain aspects to the map that aren't in the game right now. It's a very basic version of what we're going to get. So I'm sure that there's going to be more things that they add in later on in the future.
Just like what I'm noticing, and like it's probably due to being pre-alpha and early on, but the close-ups of like the NPCs, it's very, very heavily NPC animation.
I mean, it is. It's going to be. They're not gonna make huge.
Yes, but just seeing the close-ups, they're all like the same animations, walking, marching. I'm like, this looks.
Well, you got to remember that
amateur.
It's not amateur. You got to remember that you're up here, right? Like you're all the way up here. The only time that you're ever going to see those animations clearly is if you zoom all the way in, or if they do have a first person mode where you can like go in as like your lord or whatever, like whatever that is, and you can walk around and you have like your own avatar.
I would give that to being pre-alpha, but like I'm just saying, like if it's at least full release, I'd like to see some variant of like animation. You
might.
If I were to play this kind of game, I'm going to like watch the battles. That's like I don't play RTSs, but like if I were to, I would be like zooming into battles, like watching the conflict going on and everything. And if I just see like some generic animations going on, I wouldn't be too immersed into like this like god power. I'd be like, these are just like basic NPCs just going at it.
Then I would say, I don't know, like, if this, because I have watched quite a bit of the game being played. I don't know if this is the game that you would like.
This would not be the game.
I would say go to like Total War, Total War Warhammer looks gorgeous.
Even Total War in some cases the animations do not look that great, especially when you zoom real far in close to it. So you just got to remember that like these games are not meant to be like in the action, right? They're meant you're up here.
Just the gameplay and overall.
I actually think it looks beautiful. Looks. To be 100%,
I think personally, I think it looks fine.
Like
I think
obviously, to me, it's just the animations. Then I mean, like everything else looks fine to me.
I mean, again, I'm looking at it from the like you're talking about, Enigma, where you're all the way up and top down and looking at it and whatever. Like, yeah, I'm not going to zoom in on this dude with a horse and a carriage. Like, if you want to, sure, but like, and I get like zooming in on the cities and like whatever, but I don't know. I mean. But
I think that's just, as like a developer, I feel like that's just something you have to take into consideration. You know, I know it's not the total draw of this game, but like there are a lot of people who do appreciate the fine details, you know, whether it be very minuscule and small. I feel like you should at least put something into it, you know.
I don't know. Well, again, we're talking about a pre-alpha small team, and I think that this is...
Again, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is just pre-alpha, what I'm seeing here visually, so they very well could,
but I also
future,
don't
like, release, do something with it.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. Is to be completely honest, like to me, putting that big of an amount of work into making sure that like NPCs that you're only going to look at like maybe 5% of the time is not worth it. Like again, these games are not meant to be in the conflict. These games are not meant to be first person mode, right? They're meant to be up here essentially as like looking down from the bottom or from the top up. That they're not meant to have that amount of detail. The animations look good from up here.
From not being an RTS player, really, you know.
That's just most RTSs, and that's just how it's gonna be. Like, also, and again, Total War does a really good job with it, but they're not also juggling city building aspects, trade aspects, everything like that. They're literally just doing warfare. You know?
How do we know that Lord Reginald back then didn't move like that? We weren't alive back then. That's how they moved. That's how they looked. They only had 3 animations back then.
Yeah, jaundice back then. Yeah, jaundice back then. Couldn't move well enough.
That was it. You know,
like, even the horses knew.
Yeah, they knew. They were just like, listen, man, we can't afford. We don't have the technology for more animations right now. So.
But yeah, so that's the biggest thing. Is it's just it's a very in-depth city builder with war, you know, Total War mechanics, and that's I think it's been asked for a long time, and I think they did a really good job with it. I'm looking forward to seeing what other kinds of modes they have, because currently they just have the mode that basically you go up against the other lord, and then they have like an endless mode that you just kind of you build your city up as much as you can, as much as the map will allow it. No multiplayer as of right now. I don't think there is any. I don't think there's any. What's it called for it either? Plans for it either.
So plans for multiplayer. Okay.
I bet there would be a mod that would come out that would do it, because I think that'd be kind of cool.
Maybe it would be cool. I do think that like having like a StarCraft-esque multiplayer where you're going up against each other would be a cool thing to have. But like I would argue I would rather they focus in on the single player, get that really good, and then if they want to add in multiplayer later, because
it would be hard to do multiplayer in something like this too, because at least with like Total War and stuff like that, it's turn based, so you have like everybody's got their end turn and whatnot. This seems to be a lot more live.
This is all live. Yeah, the combat is all live.
Yeah.
Yep. Even the combat when you're in combat, it's all live. So you only have the ability to pause the time from moving. That's the only.
What I think would be cool, and again, I know I am one of the minorities when I say this, but like,
you want PvP?
No. What I would say is like SimCity, like when they were trying to do their online persistent world, reboot or whatever else, like the idea behind it, cool concept, and I think that this would be a cool concept. Again, like they showed that map where there was a bunch of different regions of like, hey, like if this was a real time kind of persistent thing where Enigma has his area that he's kind of building up and dealing with, and like I've chosen to go over here and build out, and now I'm like whatever, and then maybe Scruffy and I align and we take out, we're encroaching on Enigma's land, but like Bill's over here, doing it. I think it'd be a cool concept that they could definitely play around with.
No, it would. I agree. Yeah.
But I also agree too, like get your foundation laid and get that all done so it's smooth and perfect. And then maybe a modder will add it in or something.
That should be something that they worry about down the road for sure. Cause it's one of those things where like this kind of genre, they're not playing it for the multiplayer, especially the people that are like hardcore into like city builders and stuff like that. They're not playing it for the multiplayer. They're playing it for the single player. So, and I think so far, again, like I said, they've done a really good job. I'm looking forward to when they, more content comes out for it. Cause Yeah, I've been playing it. I've been playing as much as I can between playing fucking Fallout 76. I'm playing way too much of that right now.
It's human.
It is on sale right now for $29.99. Retails for $40.
Great price.
So go pick it up. It's by Slavic Magic. Is the
there you go.
Is the developer
Not Warhorse.
For it. Cool.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed the patch notes. And if you want to see more from the Pre-Patch Podcast, don't forget to check us out live every Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, or at anchor.fm/Pre-Patch Podcast, or wherever podcasts are listened to. Hope to see you there. Much love.